I know you're all waiting with anticipation to know, what am I going to talk about tonight? Right. Tonight is going to be Q&A with Pastor Shawn. Let me say that again. Q&A with Pastor Shawn. So tonight we're going to tackle a subject that a caller or someone that has mailed a letter in has asked for me to talk on. And it just so happens, lucky for us, that I happen to have a letter that I got in today from Benny from Saskatchewan. And this is what Benny writes. Dear Pastor Shawn, would you please talk about humility on your next podcast? Benny, you're in luck, my friend, because that is exactly what I wanted to talk about tonight anyway. So let's get started. So humility is something that really none of us are qualified to preach on, because none of us really possess it. Humility is one of those things that if you ever get it and you know it, then you've immediately lost it. But anyway, I want to talk to you about humility tonight, because here's the thing. We have a tendency as human beings, we have this tendency to always want to showcase our talent, our gift, our beauty, whatever. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with having a little bit of pride or confidence in something that God has blessed you with. But there's a lot wrong with having a lot of pride about that, having a sense of value or worth over the next person because they're not as strong or as fast or as pretty as you are or handsome. So humility can be a very tricky and a very slippery slope, okay? One thing we don't want to do is we don't want to be prideful about anything, because here's the thing. I don't care if you can bench press 600 pounds. I don't care if you can run the 40 and, 4 flat. God is the one that gives to each person the gifts and talents that they have. You didn't earn it. You were born with speed. You say, well, I trained and I worked hard at that. Yeah, you did. But without God's grace, without him giving you the tools and the muscle and the body that he's given you, it wouldn't matter how hard you worked, you still wouldn't be able to lift what you do or run as fast as you do or play like you do or sing like you do, whatever. And so God does not give us those gifts and bless us so we can, hold it over people and make other people feel smaller than we are because we're so much more advanced than they are. Air quotations. So anyway, those are just some things I want you to think about, okay? We are no better than anyone else. In fact, one of the verses that we shared last night during our Wednesday night Bible study, which if you're not going anywhere on Wednesday night, you ought to be here at 6 o'clock. But anyway, Romans 12:16. Let me find it real quick, and then I'm gonna read it back to you. I really probably should have had this ready since I'm doing a podcast. I didn't really think that through. So you're just going to have to wait a minute. Our Wednesday night people ought to know this one. Here we go. Romans 12:16 says this. Be of the same mind toward one another. Do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble. Look at this. Do not be wise in your own opinion. Do not think, and in another place it says, do not think more highly of yourself than you should. It also says over in James 4 about, God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. Philippians 2 talks about how Christ humbled himself and became obedient to death, even the death on the cross. So the Bible tells us throughout Scripture, throughout the pages of Scripture, from start to finish, don't be prideful. Don't think more of yourself than you should. Don't think that you are elevated or that you're better than somebody else because you're stronger than they are. Don't feel like you have to showcase your skills for the whole world to appreciate, okay? You don't have to broadcast it. You don't have to shout it from the rooftops. Listen, what you really want is to just be a godly person, a kind and humble person. And I promise you, God will elevate you when you need to be elevated, if you need to be elevated, but that's his job, not yours, okay? And always keep in mind, it's God that gave you that gift. You didn't earn it. I don't care how hard you trained. You didn't create yourself. God's the one that gave you that body that you have that responded and was capable and able to do what it does. So don't get the big head, okay? Be humble, Don't think more highly of yourself than you should, and just let God get all the glory. And I promise you, your Christian life will skyrocket. God hates a prideful spirit. Okay, brother, sister, it's not all about you. It's all about him. And so let's strive to be respected and revered by other people for having a humble spirit, not because we're so talented and so strong and so gifted. You take that with you, and that will make a tremendous impact in your Christian life. Listen, it's a lifelong process. But anyway, hope that helps. Let's thank Benny from Saskatchewan. Great job, Benny. Hey, be sure to keep writing in. And so I know I told you that my next podcast would talk about more issues that Pastor Shawn has. But listen, folks, that's going to take up, months, years even, and I don't have that kind of time. So forgive me. So I love you. God bless you. Be humble. See ya.